Our message to the President is that factory farming is becoming an increasingly important issue because of the way it affects so many aspects of our communities. There's so much that factory farmed meat goes through before it reaches the plates of consumers, and so much that they deserve to know about. This is why it should be addressed by somebody with the power to make a change.
Factory farming is an industrial method of raising animals, often referred to as livestock on a large scale. Its systems focus on maximizing profit by using minimal resources. On factory farms, animals are kept in overcrowded, confined spaces, often indoors for most or all of their lives. This intense approach prioritizes efficiency over the well-being of the animal.
Confined Animal Operations, or CAFOs.
CAFOs, or Confined Animal Feeding Operations.
A CAFO, a Concentrated Animal Feeding Operation.
These are facilities where thousands, sometimes millions of animals are cramped into crowded and unsanitary conditions. They're pumped full of antibiotics. You may know that 80% of the antibiotics produced in this country are actually fed to farm animals, not because they're sick, but because they're kept in these conditions where we expect they may get sick.
In 2021 alone, nearly 36 million cows in the U.S. were slaughtered. The beef industry is responsible for a staggering 12.6 million cattle.
The chicken industry isn't far behind, with a jaw-dropping 9.5 billion chickens killed annually, more than 26 million every single day. This is equivalent to just over 1 million chickens per hour.
And don't forget the hogs. 128 million pigs were slaughtered in 2023, equaling almost 4 million pigs per day. These numbers are mind-blowing, but what do they really mean for us, for the animals, and for our planet? It affects far beyond the animals. It poses a major threat to animal welfare, wreaks havoc on the environment, presents serious risks to public health, and weakens rural communities. The consequences are vast, and we cannot afford to ignore them.
Factory farming is a huge problem because it contributes to global greenhouse gas emissions, land, water, air pollution, and biodiversity loss. It produces a huge quantity of manure, which is often contaminated with heavy metals and pathogens, leading to water pollution.
As the world tries to catch up with the challenges of climate change, can we afford to ignore the role of factory farming in destroying our planet? Growing crops for animals to eat, keeping billions of animals hydrated, and cleaning filthy slaughterhouses and factory farms takes up a massive amount of water. In the United States alone, animal agriculture devours 36 to 74 trillion gallons of water per year. In the moment it takes you to brush your teeth, animal agriculture devours an astonishing 209 million gallons of water. In the U.S., animals on CAFOs produce an estimated 885 billion pounds of manure each year, none of which is treated or regulated by a government agency.
And so where does that waste go? It seeps into our waterways, it hurts our water resources, our air resources. It really harms the local communities that are around those areas, which are disproportionately communities of color, right? It should not be a surprise to us that factory farms are disproportionately sited in low wealth communities.
An opposing view for this topic would be an owner, CEO, or higher up at a factory farm, whose main source of income is the CAFO itself. While factory farming may be a cheap and effective source of meat, it will be costly in the long run due to its continuous impact on the climate, the environment, and the welfare of our animals.
One organization that is working towards ending factory farming is the Farm Animal Refuge in San Diego, California.
My message to the president would be one to ask to subsidize plant-based vegan companies. So the dairy and the meat industry is subsidized by the government. So they're given money to make their products less expensive to the consumer. That doesn't happen with the plant-based and vegan options. Our organization's ideal future for animal care in general would be that there would not need to be sanctuaries because there would no longer be a meat industry.
The best way to slow down factory farming would be for the majority of people to cut down on meat consumption or stop it altogether. But this is a far-fetched idea, and for some people is downright impossible. However, seeing as factory farms are also the main source of dairy products, cutting down on foods like cow's milk and cheese would also be helpful. Although cutting down on meat might seem super difficult, the average American eats way more meat than necessary. In a year, this person will reach a whopping 224 pounds of meat, equaling 2,500 pigs, cows, chickens, turkeys, and sheep eaten in their lifetime. Another big contributor to factory farming is buying unsustainably farmed meat, which is why more people should pay attention to buying higher welfare meat, whether it comes from a farmer's market or a small sustainable farm. However, while family farms make up a lot of America's farms, only 1% of animals are raised on them. Now that we as a community know how to reform factory farming, what do you think you, as an individual, can do to rethink your plate?